My name is Sam Rodningen. I'm going to compare my life to a teen from the colonial times to my grandma's teen years. Connecticut has low wooded hills, the coast has warm winters and cooler summers, and the northwestern uplands have longer winters. The first time the Dutch traders explored the Connecticut River was in 1614. In 1633, the first settlement was founded, a trading post along the Connecticut River. In 1636, Thomas Hooker led about 100 people south along the Connecticut River. They established a colony near the Dutch trading post. Because of my great-grandfather's job, my grandma moved around most of her childhood, but the main part of her teen years was spent in Carson, Iowa. Carson was built along the river and is slightly hilly. It has hot summers and very cold winters with mild springs and falls. In 1880, the Burlington and Rock Island Railroad began to provide transportation to the settlers on the land that is now known as Carson. During this time, passengers were dropped off in a field until a depot was built. In 1881, Carson was established and officially given its name. Clear Lake was established in 1871. We have warm summers and cold winters. The Surf Ballroom is a historical rock and roll landmark. Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper gave their last performances at the Surf. Something that changed in Connecticut was the use of slaves and servants. Servants were like slaves, but they had to sign a contract saying they would work without pay for whoever paid their way to America. Slaves were usually captives from war and were sold for profit. Some slaves were given legal rights. In 1730, a law was passed that slaves could file legal complaints and give evidence in court. The children of slaves were taught to read and write. African slaves were allowed to be baptized in congregational churches. They were allowed to go to the same church as their masters, but they had to sit in separate sections. When masters went to select a governor, their slaves would go with them for a celebration called Election Day. With the approval of their masters, the slaves would choose one slave to be their governor, but this person had no legal power. A big change for my grandma was when she broke her leg in her senior year of high school. It was the middle of the basketball season, and she had a chance to play for a national team. After her leg was healed, it never was strong enough for her to play again, so she stayed in Carson and married my grandfather soon after that. A big change for me was getting a new cousin. At first I didn't want a new cousin because I was used to being the littlest and I thought he would take my place, but now I don't know what I'd do without him. Many children had to learn to read and write, but boys usually got more education. Girls had to help with housework. Teenage girls would go to other people's houses and do their housework to learn how to do more work. My grandma's chores were washing dishes, cooking, cleaning the house, raking the yard, and mowing. The chores I do are cleaning my room and taking care of my pets. The toys that girls play with were mostly dolls. They played a type of football and basketball, but they were much different from the way we play them today. For entertainment, my grandma liked to roller skate, play with friends, ride her bike, and hopscotch. Things that I do for entertainment are sports, watching TV and movies, listening to music, and hanging out with my friends. After a woman got married, she lost all the little rights she had. Anything she owned became her husband's, and she lost the right to sue anyone in court. She also lost her right to sign a contract. Single or widowed women were allowed these rights because they had to take care of themselves. No women were ever allowed the right to vote or serve the government. When my grandma was a teenager, women would work in their house, raising their kids, cooking, and cleaning. Women could work, but they were usually looked down on by other people because they thought they should be at home with their kids. Today, women are free to work where they want. They can vote and serve the government. The colonial times was very different from the way we do things today. The music they listened to was mostly from the Bible. Today, we listen to many different types of music. They didn't have much for entertainment. We have TV and movies today. My grandma would roller skate and play with friends. They did play sports, but they were much different from the way we do things today.